I get it. When you're hunting for a new desktop, you've probably already tried a cheap all-in-one or a refurbished tower, only to discover that the performance drops the minute you open a couple of browser tabs or try to run a video call. The regret that follows is real, and it makes the next purchase feel like a gamble. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. That's why I spent a few days setting up the HP OmniDesk, pulling it apart in my home office, and testing it against the kind of workload most of us actually deal with: remote meetings, a few design programs, and a steady stream of files that need backing up. First off, the thing that catches your eye is the dark wood finish. It's not just a veneer, the panels have a matte grain that actually hides fingerprints better than glossy plastic. In my office, where the desk sits opposite a window, it blends with the furniture instead of looking like a tech box. The design choice is a subtle win for anyone who cares about aesthetics as much as functionality, especially if you're sharing a space with clients or a partner who notices the decor. The big promise here is AI-ready performance powered by the Intel Core Ultra 7 265. What does that mean in day-to-day use? I ran a series of typical tasks: a 60-minute Zoom call with screen sharing, opening a Photoshop file that's about 500 megabytes, and compiling a small Python script that uses a local machine learning model for image tagging. The system never hit a noticeable lag point. The processor handled the video encode for the call while the AI inference ran in the background, and the transition between apps felt smooth. For a freelance designer or a small business owner who occasionally dabbles in AI tools, that kind of multitasking stamina is a genuine benefit. It's not a data center chip, but it's more than enough to keep the workflow fluid without having to upgrade every few months. Memory and storage are where the OmniDesk really shows its practicality. 16 GB of DDR5 RAM is a sweet spot for most professional workloads today. I noticed that when I opened multiple large Photoshop documents and had a few Chrome windows pinned with Google Docs, the system never resorted to swapping to the SSD. The 1 TB solid-state drive gave me plenty of room for project files, a local backup of the last 3 months, and a sandbox for testing new software. The speed of that SSD translates to a quick boot under 30 seconds from a cold start and instant launches for most programs. If you're someone who still keeps a lot of media files locally instead of relying on cloud sync, the capacity alone saves you a separate external drive. One of the hidden trade-offs is the built-in docking station. It's not a separate add-in you have to purchase later. HP includes a dock that gives you 2 DisplayPort outputs, a USB-C power delivery port, a few USB-A slots, and an Ethernet jack. In practice, I was able to connect a dual monitor setup, a wired network, and a fast external SSD without cluttering the desk with a tangled mess of adapters. That convenience is a huge time saver for people who have a permanent workstation and don't want to keep plugging and unplugging peripherals. However, the dock does take up a portion of the back panel, meaning you have fewer free slots for additional cards if you ever want to add a dedicated GPU later. So if you anticipate needing heavy graphics power down the line, you might need to look at a desktop that offers a larger internal expansion bay. Power consumption is another practical point. The Core Ultra line is built on a 7nm process, which translates to lower heat and quieter fans compared to older Intel generations. In my office, the OmniDesk stayed under 30 dB even under load, so it's barely audible over the hum of an air conditioner. That's a relief for anyone who records video or podcasts at their desk. The last thing you want is a fan swooping in during a take. Now, who should actually consider this machine? If you're a remote professional who needs a reliable workstation for video calls, office suites, occasional creative work, and you'd like a system that's ready for AI-related plugins without a massive upgrade budget, the OmniDesk hits the mark. Its design makes it fit nicely into a home office that doubles as a client-facing space. Small to medium businesses that want a few identical units for a team could also benefit from the uniform look and the pre-installed Windows 11 Pro, which includes BitLocker and other enterprise-grade security tools out of the box. On the flip side, if you're a hardcore gamer, a 3D animator who relies on a high-end GPU, or a developer building large Docker containers that need massive parallel processing, you'll likely feel the limits. The integrated graphics that come with the Core Ultra are fine for everyday tasks and light media editing, but they won't deliver the frame rates you expect in the latest titles. Also, the all-in-one form factor means you can't upgrade the CPU later. You're essentially buying the